in November 25th, Donkey Kong Country came out, and
That's a hell of a thing.
Yeah.
right, like this game, and again, this is the year that Super Metroid came out and Final Fantasy came out, so it's not like the SNES needed a lot of help, but this is the game that really extended that console's lifespan in a very major way, you know, because we had the PS1 coming out the next year, obviously.
Yeah, I remember getting to it was probably a couple weeks before it came out. I went to the Best Buy in like Madison, Wisconsin, and they had this giant like Titantron TV that was made up of like 40 other TVs.
Oh, well,
and I just
yeah.
walked in, and it
Those.
was the first time I saw this thing in motion. I'm like, what is that?
Yeah.
And like you get up close and you're like, that doesn't look like a car. It looks real, and like the monkey looks sweaty. Everything looks sweaty in the game, but it's like
Like
a
a weird
way.
depth.
Well, the crazy thing is, when you compared the graphics of Donkey Kong Country to PS1 like launch games, it looked
Yeah.
much better.
Yeah.
It wasn't those blocky, you know, sort of terrible looking polygons. Like it took developers a long time to sort of figure out 3D, and the Silicon Graphics faked it in the SNES.
Yeah.
It also gave us, first of all, the soundtrack of the game.
Ugh, so
is
good.
So
just
good, yeah.
incredible.
Yeah.
But it really gave us the Donkey. Like when we think about Donkey Kong today, it's not Donkey Kong. Like it's the Donkey Kong from Donkey Kong
Yeah.
Country.
Yeah, it's
It's
not
not great
like-
because that was the original Donkey Kong's Cranky Kong.
They redefined that character, like who we see in Smash and
Yep.
Mario Kart and
Yep.
everything else is Donkey Kong Country. Like, and I don't know that the game gets enough credit for that.
That's
like,
that's an interesting point, and also like the fact that kind of first you had Mario, and then you had Sonic, and Sonic is like this hedgehog with attitude. He's got sneakers on.
Yeah.
He dresses like a kid. Mario looks like your dad. And then they're like, well, let's get Donkey Kong and his friend Diddy, who's got a hat and a shirt, and it's like they kind of took that like wacky cartoon animals thing, and they like really kicked it up a notch.
Yeah.
We Diddy Kong was supposed to be Donkey Kong Jr. and Nintendo wasn't comfortable with them changing that character so much. They wanted him to look like the way Donkey Kong Jr. looks, so that's why they invented Diddy Kong. They made a new, and that was like
Yep.
sort of the start of the Kong family tree.
Yeah, because he's
Yeah.
his nephew, right?
Yeah,
Or like
I
his
mean,
cousin or something?
He's his nephew, which I guess that means there's some off-screen
I wanna
brother
meet-
of Donkey Kong.
I want to meet the Conky Dong. No, that's not right.
Honky Dog.
I can only assume that's his
I want to
name.
meet the Conky Dog. This is also Rare made a ton of games on the NES, but this
Yeah.
is sort of the game that put them on the map.
Oh, yeah.
As like oh man, this is a developer.
I mean, they had Battletoads. They had a few
Yeah.
other big hits. This is the game that Nintendo saw how impressive Donkey Kong Country was shaping up. They bought 49% of Rare
Yeah.
and made them a second party. Like Rare was an independent company for a decade before before Donkey Kong Country.
Yeah,
Well,
and yeah, so that's that purchase led to things like all the N64 games like GoldenEye, Perfect Dark,
Yeah.
and Jet Force Gemini.
And Donkey Kong 64.
We don't. That's not. This is the history of awesome.
you don't speak
Not
of that one.
history of
No, Donkey Kong Country is literally the first game I remember referring to with the word graphics.
Yeah.
Like, and I think on
Yeah.
that note, actually, Final Fantasy 3 or 6, whatever, was the first game I called an RPG, or like I knew what that was. When
Yeah.
someone's
Yeah,
like,
yeah.
"I'm playing as roles," that's what an RPG is. I'm like,
Yeah.
oh, what's HP? And they're like, well, let me tell you something. But no, like Donkey Kong, it was so. I forget that was kind of at that time period.
Yeah.
Because it was such an incredible just.
It honestly looks better than it has almost any right to
Yeah.
be. Like, I mean, kudos to Rare for making it look as good as it does, but
Yeah.
nothing else looked like that at that time.
No, it was incredible. And Marty, I know you're a big fan of the actual gameplay in Donkey Kong
Yeah.
Country. The exploration of the levels are sort of filled with secrets, lots
Yeah,
of fun
the-
animals to ride.
Yeah, that was another cool thing too. Is that like you had like Donkey Kong and Diddy Kong had different abilities. Diddy was faster, Donkey Kong was stronger. But then all these like weird you'd find
Right,
an
Rhino.
ostrich named Espresso and
Yep.
Rambi the Rhino and Wonka the frog. I don't know what the frog's name is, so I called him
You could
Wonka.
You could just ride a rhinoceros through a wall,
Yeah.
and then
Yeah.
you're in a cave full of bananas, and the rhino's just flipping out. He's got a gorilla on his back that's punching him in the back of the
This
head.
sounds like a horror or
Yeah.
horrific dream I had.
I mean,
one
it sounds
night.
like a game show that I would never get greenlit. Like,
Yeah.
just,
Oh, we can get that great.
hi, Animal Planet? Listen, I'm sorry I keep calling. I had this idea. Then you find a balloon, and you're like, yes.
Real
Yeah.
life Donkey Kong Country. Get a strap a monkey.
Yeah.
over
Yeah.
What could go wrong?
Nothing. That's totally good.
It's one of those weird games where like I replay it often, but I'll just remember where all the secrets are. Like
Yeah.
I'll just
Yeah.
fall down a pit and it's like, no, it's fine. There's a barrel
There's
there, and I'm
things
like,
down
why do I forget my mom's birthday? Why do I remember this?
because you know what that barrel is. That replaced that bit in your brain.
That day in August.